All right, guys, now we are in the kitchen with Chef Tim McGee from Stratford University School of Culinary Arts and Hospitality Management in Newport News. We're going to get started in just a moment, but first, what are we making? Because you were helping me pronounce it, but just before the show.
A little, so. You could just say dim sum is fine.
Dim sum, that's easier.
Some different type of Asian dumplings.
Pork shumai.
Shumai and shrimp hagao.
Okay.
And the whole reason being is they said make something that you love, and dim sum is Chinese for heart's delight, so I thought of something that's fun. Plus, it's like playing with Play-Doh when you're doing the fillings and stuff like that. So get your hands dirty, which you're going to be getting dirty a little bit.
All right.
But
now,
yeah.
So it sounds complicated, though. Is it?
It sounds complicated, and if you had to do, let's say, 200, 300 of them, you would probably not want to do it. But I think it's kind of good to get into, playing with your food and having fun with it, and
So what all do we need?
Well, I have some dumpling skins already, but I made a quick little dough that's resting right here. And actually all it is just some starch and hot water. So if you have anybody that's like allergic to gluten or anything like that, you could do it with potato starch, tapioca starch, and that's resting. There's 1,000 ways, just like pasta has different shapes. You can make different, you can make things that look like big wontons.
Yeah.
You could do things that look like little, satchels or purses. So then from there, just steam it up. Have some hot water going, and it's really quick.
All right, we'll get into that, Tim. We're going to get our hands dirty, as you say.
Absolutely.
All right, that's coming up. All right, we're back. We're making pork shumai and shrimp hagao this morning. This is Chef Tim McGee from Stratford University School of Culinary Arts and Hospitality Management. All right, let's get started. This is dim sum, right?
Yes, so it shouldn't be that complicated because pretty much it's like stuffed, little pasta meatballs.
You say that, Tim, but I can make things very complicated.
Well,
so let's
just like my family does, but that's why I went to school. So, okay, so I have some ground pork and then some shrimp. We're going to do 2 different dumplings today.
Okay.
And, like I said, you can flavor it any way you want to.
Right.
So if you don't like too much garlic, too much ginger, you can make it spicy if you want to. So you pick one meat, and I'll start putting some ingredients in there. You just sort of mix it all up together.
Let's do the shrimp. Let's start with the shrimp.
So the shrimp,
all right.
Now a lot of times people just puree everything in a blender. However, I like to keep the shrimp a little bit chunky for texture.
Yeah.
So it's better if you just break it up with your fingers, and I could throw some ingredients in there. We have some scallions.
Do you want me to get in there?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I've washed my hands first.
All right, excellent.
All right. So what, am I just mixing this around?
Well, you want to break them up with your fingers a little bit.
Break them up, just tear them apart.
Just crunch them up. This is when you get the kids in the kitchen.
Am I doing it right?
Yeah, just break. Just
break.
Yep. Because the kids like to get their hands dirty. You want to, make sure they clean up first, but, they like to play with their food. So you're just going to make some chunks.
This is fun.
Well, it should be.
Yeah.
All
Very
right.
cathartic, too.
Once you get some stuff in there, I'm going to give you some other seasoning, so just keep chunking them
doing
up.
it.
And the cool thing too is even if you don't make perfect chunks, which I'm saying you're not doing it perfect, you're doing it good. You can do whole shrimp. You could even mix shrimp with pork, make the dumpling the way you want it. You can make them big, small. That's the whole cool thing about it.
Okay. All right, so I think I've got most of them broken up here.
Yeah. Now the key ingredients to remember is that when you're steaming, you lose a lot of, it's very healthy.
Right.
But you don't want to overcook it or dry it out. So like any type of mix, even like meatloaf or meatballs, you want to add fat to it. Even you can choose your fat, good fat or bad fat, but you want to keep that flavor in there because sometimes, you don't get that caramelization as you do with steaming, so you want that flavor in there.
Okay.
So yeah, just break them in half.
All right, so I think we're good with all this.
That's good. Yep. So I'm going to give you a little bit of sesame oil.
Okay.
And you're just going to mix that all together.
All right.
Just keep stirring, giving it a toss.
I'll keep going. Okay.
Yep. This is a little bit of the secret recipe that they always use, a little garlic sauce, chili garlic sauce.
Give it a little kick.
Yeah, a little kick.
Nice.
Okay. And then we also need some crunch, so I have some water chestnuts.
Okay.
They don't add too much flavor, but they give a good crunch to it. So we'll just...
How many is this going to serve?
That can make about 30 smaller dumplings, or if you want to do a little bit larger, you could do, 20 or, even a dozen, depending on how big you want to do it.
Right.
You could do, instead of just having like an appetizer, you can make it, like 2 or 3 on a plate, and, because, I like my portions a little bit bigger. So,
yeah.
Yep.
All right, and so from here, what are we doing?
Okay, so from there, that's good. Now, you want to let it marinate for a little bit. It's probably a good idea, so just letting it rest. But from there, we're going to make our dough, and like I said,
I should probably rinse my hands.
Yeah, go right ahead.
You continue.
I'm going to add some other ingredients to the other pork so that we're working in tandem.
So we're doing two different dishes.
Yeah, so it's going to be two different dumpling skins. One is the more traditional, kind of like the egg roll style wrapper.
Right.
And the other one is a little bit more of like a, I don't want to say, it's like a quick dough, almost like you ever see those steam buns on the Chinese buffet. So you don't have to buy two, crazy different ingredients. You could always season it the same way. It's going to be the flavor of the meat that's going to change it up.
Okay.
All right, and I'm going to add that too. So if you already washed and you're going to be my assistant for today, go ahead and mix that up for me too. That way we're ahead of the game. And then that one.
You're making me work a little bit though.
Well,
it's all right.
It's early.
It is early.
Give a little soy sauce. Just a little bit. This is a good Japanese soy, so we don't need too much.
Of all days to wear a suit, I probably should have gone with the sleeves rolled up, but that's all right.
Well, they said you were going to put a coat on, but a chef coat.
Did
we should have brought one. We should have brought one from Stratford.
All right, so we're mixing this around the pork here.
I'm going to give you an egg too, and the reason for the egg is that.
Why not? Just go right in.
Okay.
And I'm mixing that in too.
Yep, and that's going to help to bind it, just like if we're making a meatball or a meatloaf.
Audience, I promise I washed my hands.
He did. I saw him.
Yes.
Certified sanitician. So, whenever you're cooking with something, especially like this, that has the fat throughout it, like chopped up in it, when it gets hot, it's going to want to render out.
Okay.
And so you give it a little bit of binder, like the egg white and a little bit of the cornstarch, and that's going to help to sort of keep everything in there. Because, like I said, when you cook it, you don't want to lose too much of that flavor in there.
Right.
All right. All right. Good. Yeah. So. Once you have your mixes good, and you did an excellent job, and you also stayed very clean too. I'm very impressed with that.
Look at that.
I usually see my students wearing more than what they eat. So.
And you're in high school. You do high school students.
I do.
Too.
Yeah, I do Norview High School as well. And the reason I'm doing this today is an homage to my girls. We won Virginia State Pro Start Championship with these recipes. So
that's great. Congratulations to them.
So that's good. Let the flavors melt for a little bit, and then we'll just fill them up. I'll show you how to do that. But for the most part, it's just mix it up. Refrigerate it. You can just let it chill down for a little bit to get those flavors in there, and then
the fun part comes when we come up.
Yep.
All right, we'll check in with you again, Tim. We appreciate that. All right, let's head over to the Buzz and Ariane. All right, Ariane, we have now made our way back into the kitchen, and I feel like I'm in preparation for surgery here.
Yeah, you're all set.
Jacket's gone. The sleeves are rolled up. We're serious now, guys. We're actually going to make this pork shumai and shrimp hao-gao. Tim McGee here. He's going to help us get this all taken care of. Tim's from the Stratford University School of Culinary Arts and Hospitality Management. Yep. All right. We've taken care of all the dirty work.
Yep,
well,
you did.
Part of the dirty work.
Yeah, I'm not doing dirty work. You're doing it.
I'm doing all the dirty work today.
But yeah, you got that done very well, and all season's up. So now's the, you've had fun for a while. Now you're going to have some more fun because now you could be a little bit creative and artistic if you want to.
We'll see how that goes.
All right, so like I said, I'm going to have just all we need to get our ingredients together. So I do have some egg wash just to close up the dumplings, but I'm going to show you how to enclose them, and there's several different types of ways that you can do it.
You can do like little designs too.
You can do little designs, like I said, little purses, whatever you want to do. So this is our dough that I made with the tapioca starch and the wheat starch. So you can see it's a lot different than regular like ground flour.
Right.
So it's a lot lighter, and if you do it thin enough, it almost becomes a little translucent.
Okay.
So you want your dough to be a little bit sticky so that you can get it together. So let you half that.
All right.
Okay. And if it's sticking to your glove a lot, just go ahead and just cover yourself with a little bit of this cornstarch so that it prevents it. Also smooths it out a little bit.
I feel like a gymnast chalking up before an event.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
So.
Oh yeah, that works.
So now you're just sort of kneading it with your fingers, making it a nice little circle. You want to trim down your edges and make them all nice and smooth because that's going to be the show part.
Okay.
All right. And like I said, we're using a bigger diameter, but you could do any size you want. Usually by, after a couple dozen of them, you're making big ones so that you don't have to do too many. But you want to just sort of thin that out very good and smooth off your edges. Okay.
Ariane, I hope you're taking notes here.
Because there will be a quiz.
There will be a quiz. All right.
All right, so excellent. All right, so now we can work on, it's a lot of different pleats and folds.
Right.
Okay? So for this one, you could do a basic little fold like this, and if it's a little bit dry and not going to stick, you could just rub a little this egg wash around it. But yours, let's see, yours is pretty good.
Okay.
So take a fold and just sort of give a little, like a little Z fold.
Like that?
Yep, and then just keep doing a couple. It's actually going to start to crimp itself. Excellent.
Very nervous about this.
Well,
I want it to be just perfect.
Well, you're doing good. All right.
All right, I think that looks all right.
We could always fill any cracks or any holes like that.
All right.
But we're making a little zigzag, okay? And then get a little piece of your filling.
Yes.
If you have a whole.
Do you want me to do pork?
Let's
we'll
do the
stick to shrimp.
yeah.
All right.
So go ahead and just
All
put
right.
that in there. All
Got
right,
it. Okay.
And then take that other edge and close it up.
Just touch them together like that.
Yep. You can always fix those holes.
Well, that's okay.
There's always going to be a tear. But
Let's watch yours. Yours will be the example.
So
Okay.
as it closes,
Yeah.
you have a little purse satchel.
A purse set. Let's call it a merce. Okay.
Yeah,
A
okay.
purse.
Yeah, because we're
Thanks.
men in the kitchen, so. And then you just keep doing a couple dozen of those. Let me see. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
So now this one, it takes a lot of work. It's been done for centuries. So if the first one doesn't work, it's still edible. You just cook it and eat it, and don't show this.
All
to
right, let's
anybody.
cook these up.
Yeah. So we got a steamer basket going already. All right, and my electric wok right here. So good idea when you're steaming is to have some hot stock or hot water going at the whole time, because you're always going to reduce and lose some steam. So you want to just have that. But I'm going to take some of this bok choy right here.
Okay.
And this is going to be, instead of using, well, Sans rubber band, this is going to be like, instead of using any non-stick spray or anything like that, because they're not going to stick to this.
Right.
But they're going to want to stick to the wood. So, and you could find any of these steamer basket at good, restaurant store or Asian store, but we just want to line it with our leaves so that the steam passes through it. It also gives it a nice little show. So where's your little things right here? Good. So we're going to steam those up.
Okay.
And just leave them in there for a couple minutes until the meat gets firm. We don't really have to temperature it because it's just going to get nice and tough. We don't want any raw or anything like that.
Perfect. Okay.
Now for just a couple more, this one's a little bit easier. You take one of these skins. Now these are the skins that you're probably used to seeing in the grocery store. Okay. Let's say we want to do some of the pork ones. So
Tim, let's work on this during the break, all right? When we come back, we're going to actually try all these, okay?
absolutely.
All right, folks, we'll be back with much more. Ariane, what do we got?